Normally, when you get a chit during your speech, it means please wind up, isn't it? What was written in the chit was, Swamiji's flight has been delayed by 1 more hour for please speak on. So for 2 hours, I had to speak on dialectical materialism and the essence of Indian philosophy. This is scene number 1. Scene number 2. I got the United Nations Global Best Practice Award for some of the works which I had done. The computer told you about some of the activities which I want to take in innovations. For my innovations in the field of cost-effective housing, cost-effective and environment-friendly housing, UN selected that as a global best practice. I was invited to the United Nations headquarters in New York. It's a special session of the General Assembly on Habitat. I got the award, and also 3 minutes were given for me to speak there. I very happily came back to the Manhattan hotel. At midnight, I get a call. At that time, there was mobile was not so popular as it is today. It is a long distance call, international call, which came from Kerala. From the voice, I knew it's an old lady who is talking to me. This old lady on the other end of the phone from Kerala, she asked me, am I speaking to Dr. Ananda Bose? I said, yes, ma'am. Doctor, I need your help. So tell me, ma'am. Doctor, I am not able to speak, able to sleep in the last 3 days. I need your help. So I thought she might have thought I am a medical doctor. So I said, ma'am, I am not a medical doctor. I know everything about you. I know your PhD is from Bilspilani, that's why you're a doctor. But I need your help. Then I didn't know exactly what she meant. So I asked her, ma'am, are you having hypertension, blood pressure? I am having hypertension. Are you in the habit of taking sleeping pills? I am in the habit of taking sleeping pills. Then, ma'am, you might have forgotten to take the sleeping pills in the last 3 days. That's why you're not getting sleep. No, I've taken phenobarbital 500 mg. Then, ma'am, in what way can I help you? Dr. Bose, do you remember when you were district collector here, you gave a speech on dialectical materialism and the essence of Indian philosophy. 1 minute after you started your speech, I started sleeping. Can you repeat that speech to answer me? So I do not want to be caught in the network once again. What is actually spirituality? What is spiritual, what is material? We see here is a lot of conflict between spiritual and the material. See, Dr. S. Radhakrishnan, Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan, the famous philosopher and Spalding professor of Oxford, he was once asked to explain the complicated relation between matter and mind. Being a great philosopher of repute, the entire St. Albert Hall was filled with intellectuals from all over the world. Dr. Radhakrishnan came there, and the whole world which was awaiting his exposition of the complex relation between matter and mind. Dr. Radhakrishnan stood up and asked a question. The whole world listened with rapt attention. What is matter? Dr. Radhakrishnan asked. All the world media was ready to scrabble whatever he is saying. What is matter? The answer, never mind. What is mind? The answer does not matter. That is a complicated relation which is inexplicable. In the Bhagavad Gita, the blind king Dhritarashtra asks, Om Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre, Samaveda Yutsava, Mamaka Pandavaschaiva Kimakurvata Sanjaya. A very simple question the father is asking. In the battlefield of Kurukshetra, what are my children doing and the children of Pandu doing? It's a very simple question. But the answer to that which is given by Bhagavan, that gives the quintessence of the best that has been thought and said in the world. Yes, the complicated relation between mind and matter. In Milton says, the mind is its own place and in itself can make a heaven of hell or a hell of heaven. Isn't it? Correct? The mind is its own place and in itself can make a heaven of hell or a hell of heaven. The mind, yes, that is why it's again said, the mind has mountains and chasms no man fathom. The mind has mountains and chasms no man fathom. Now, the Bhagavad Gita says, we are all anxious about the result of our life and death. What is life? What is death? What is body? What is soul? See, the Bhagavan says the soul is everything. Body is nothing. Body is transient. It is like going away with the clothes, you know. You can remove the body. The soul is permanent. Yadasya dhruvar mrityum dhruvam janma mridasya ja tasmad apariharyarthe natvam shojitam. Those who are born will die. You will die, you will be reborn. So why fret about it over which you have no control? Isn't it the same thing which comes from the most materialistic text, Rubaiyat, Omar Khayyam? Omar Khayyam also says the same thing. Unborn tomorrows, dead yesterdays. Why fret about them if today be the sweet? One reaches through spirituality, the other reaches through material pleasures. Unborn tomorrows, dead yesterdays. Why fret about them if today be the sweet? But there is an elementary question which asks people like me. See, the body I can touch, body I can feel, body I can smell, but the soul I cannot touch, I cannot feel, I cannot smell. What is that then, soul? How do you understand that? The simplest exposition of the concept of soul is also given by Bhagavan. Nainam chintanti shastrani, Nainam chintanti shastrani, Nainam dakati bhavagaha, Nachainam kladayanti apo, Na shoshayati mayadara. The indestructibility of the soul, it cannot be pierced by arrows, it cannot be destroyed in fire, air, water. That is indestructible soul, the permanence of the soul, the transience of the body. In fact, the Bhagavad Gita also reassures us, you know, when there is a conflict between good and evil, normally evil wins in the first, but ultimately good will win. That is why, if not what happens? I was listening to the mantra which was chanted here and also the speech which came after that. You know, we have a feeling that, you know, everybody is indebted to me, but I am not indebted to anyone, Bhagavan said, which is very correct. We believe that Paritranaya Sadhuna, Vinashaya Jadushkrada, Dharma Samsthapanarthaya, Sambhavami Yuge Yuge. That hope is there in our mind. That is where, you know, we should be astronauts of the inner world. Take care of the inner world, the outer world will take care of itself. Anything in the world is born twice. First in the mind, then in the field, isn't it? Any idea? See, for instance, you see, vision and action are equally important. If you have vision without action, there is no result. If you have action without vision, the result can be counterproductive. Look at any revolutions in the world, be it the French Revolution, be it the Russian Revolution, be it the American Revolution, be it the greatest of revolutions, mother of revolutions, India's freedom struggle. Everything happened as an idea in the mind of one man or a group of men. First the vision comes, then the action comes. Look at the creative literature that is there, creativity, science of creativity anywhere. Michelangelo, we see on the Sistine Chapel the paintings of Michelangelo, beautiful paintings, masterpieces. But before Michelangelo dipped his brush in paint, he had a vision of what the day of the judgment should be. Similarly, Shakespeare or Kalidasa, before Shakespeare dipped his pen in ink, he had a vision of what Macbeth will be, what As You Like It will be, what Hamlet will be, what Othello will be. So it is always vision which should precede action. When you have spiritual intelligence, it will be this what happens. That transience, you know. When you mix spirituality with spiritual intelligence with your regular intelligence, not artificial intelligence, with your intelligence, the transformation which happens in the mind is something terrible, terrific. So now, the Nobel laureate W.H. speaks about this transformation which happens in the minds of human beings who are stimulated by an idea. That is, he said it all changed utterly, a terrible beauty is born. When spirituality combines with your intelligence, all change utterly, a terrible beauty is born. Beauty cannot be terrible, as you know, but you know, when sudden cataclysmic changes takes place, that is exactly what happens. There is a question which all of us ask ourselves at times. Am I alone? This feeling of loneliness is always there. But the answer is given in the Chandogya Upanishad. Tattvamasi. Thus, sage Uddalaka said, Tattvamasi. You and me are one. Isn't it? The individual soul and the universal soul are one. When we come to that point, Aham Brahmasmi, that's another restatement of the same truth. Then you realize that nobody is alone. Nobody is alone in the world. And what is happiness? We are all in the pursuit of happiness. There is this Sufi saint, She was considered to be mad by the people around. One night, she opens the door of her house. She comes and searches for something in the sand which is there in the courtyard outside. People thought she is mad. They asked her, what are you searching for? She said, I lost my needle. How can you get your needle from this sand, that was midnight. Then she kept on searching. The neighbors asked her, where did you lose your needle? I lost my needle inside the house. They laughed at her. You lost the needle inside the house and you are searching it outside. Then she asked, don't you search for happiness? Yes. Happiness is inside your mind, but you are searching outside for it, isn't it? That those who have the Sufi saint had what is called spiritual intelligence. Spiritual intelligence should precede our human intelligence. That is exactly the message which comes from here. We should realize that we are never alone. It is said, you are never less alone than when alone. Loneliness is not what is the pivot of life. It is togetherness. Yes, whether it is a family, whether it is a state, whether it is society, it is a togetherness that matters. Among the tribals of Africa, there is a system. When a young boy becomes a youth, he is subjected to a test. Once the young boy was tied to a tree in the deep forest. There are wild animals are roaming or predators are there. The whole night he lives tied to a tree. And he hears the roar of the hyenas, the laugh of the hyenas, the sound given by the predators. He thought, how can my father allow this to happen? How can the tribal chief do this to me? Early morning, he was untied from the tree. There he sees, in front of him, with a raised axe, his father was waiting to guard him. Behind the father were the tribal leaders with the raised up swords. You are never alone. You are never alone. It is in this world, there is always the VCB. That is why, Paritranaya Sadhuna, Vinashaya Chadushkrita, Dharma Samsthapanarthaya, Sambhavami Yuge. What should we do as ordinary human beings? There is a poem by Gerard Manley Hopkins, the Jesuit priest, The Wreck of the Deutschland. Deutschland is a ship. It is set sail from the port of Bremen in Germany. On the way, there is a storm, there is a shipwreck. People are running up and down in the sinking ship, thinking they can fight against the forces of nature. There are five nuns in the ship, unruffled and serene. Unruffled and serene, they console all the other passengers. The poet asks a question, when the life is in danger, imminent danger of the life is there, how could these five nuns be so calm and quiet and tranquil? The answer is, total supplication to God. Total supplication to God. If you are spiritually intelligent, there will be total supplication to God, then God will take care. Doesn't mean that you don't have to do anything. That realization of God within you, that is what is required. Among the Yoruba tribes in Nigeria, there is a saying, there is a belief. Truth and untruth are siblings. Once untruth asks truth, shall we go for a swim across the river? A friendly contest. Truth agreed. Truth came on the bank of the river, took off his clothes and plunged into the river. In the meantime, what untruth did, he put on the dress of truth and went to the town. Thinking that it is truth which is coming in glittering clothes, they did not know that it is untruth masquerading as truth. They received him, hailed him, garlanded him, and did all shows to greet him as truth. When truth came after the swimming, he found his clothes are missing. The only clothes that are there on the bank are the clothes of untruth. Truth decided, under no circumstances will I wear the clothes of untruth. So, truth went to the towns without any clothes. That is why the term naked truth has come. Then people jeered, threw stones at him. But later on they realized that what is truth and what is untrue. So truth will, like murder, will one day be out. Those who have spiritual intelligence they'll be able to realize what is truth and what is not. There is a relation between spirituality and the spiritual and the material. Spirituality and science. In fact, my recent book is Walk the Talk with Myth and Science. We feel myth is against science, mythology is against science. We feel science is against mythology. Do you know, in Greece and Rome, the concept of mythology came to explain the scientific truths of the universe through stories. Mythology came to teach people the secrets of science. So there's no dichotomy between them. The truth and untruth are the same when it comes to a higher level. See, there is a story which I heard somewhere. In the tribal areas, when winter comes, there is no heating system there. They have to collect wood, timber from the forest, keep it there dry, so that when winter comes, they light it and be around the campfire. Normally, they have no met production or anything there. They ask the tribal chief, this time how will the winter be? The chief will go into a trance for some time. After a day, he will tell, this time the winter will be very hard. So they collected woods. Then after 2 weeks, they again asked, how hard will the winter be this time? Give me one more day. He went to some spiritual trance, then told them, this year the winter will be extremely cold. Then now they collected more timber. Again they asked him, what is going to happen now? How intense will be the winter? Cold. Then he said, give me one day. Went into a spiritual trance. Then came and told them, this will be the coldest winter in the last 20 years. They collected more woods. Then, what he normally did was, this one day he will contact the Met Office. Then tell them, what is the Met people tell them. Finally he asked the Met people, how do you predict the weather like this? You know what the Met people said, the scientists said? What we do is, we watch the tribal collecting wood. The more wood they collect, the more winter it will be. So, spiritual and the material are all the same. But though it is considered to be, I come from Kerala. We take pride in the fact that we come from the place where Adi Shankara came. Advaita, the universal, the soul and the individual soul are the same. It may look different, but it is the same. Universal soul and the individual soul will be the same. That is Advaita. It happens everywhere. Between science and religion also, there is this Advaita concept is prevalent. I do not want to take more of your time because after becoming governor, I am asked to speak on topics over which I have no mastery. But still, I have to speak. Once it happened to me, again when I was a principal secretary to the chief minister, he wanted me to take over the Ministry of Culture. So I was also made culture secretary. Then we suggested, sir, the cultural significance of Kerala is not known in Delhi. That is why for Padma Shri, Padma Bhushan, many Malayalis don't get it. So what to do? I suggested, sir, let's do one thing. Let us showcase the best of Kerala's culture in the capital. So a cultural event was organized, a week-long cultural event. We booked the Vigyan Bhavan for this. Then somebody told us, sir, there is likelihood of the student unions getting into the auditorium and creating problems. So being in the IAS, I said, let the commissioner of police, let him pass a security passes signed by